Well, it is very nice to meet you, Kate and Ron.
Lovely to meet you too.
So my first question goes out to you, Ron. This show has many sort of staggering visual effects shots that are just absolutely stunning to look at. I'm wondering first and foremost, how extensive was the process of designing all of these visual effects heavy scenes? Did you have as much time as you would for a film, or was it more in line with a TV show?
No, so thank you. First of all, thank you so much for saying all of that. We ultimately created 9,000 visual effects. That is the equivalent of 4 feature-length films in terms of the load of work. We built systems that was shared with a fabulous team of visual effects vendors and craftspeople all over the world. We had 1,500 artists working. Jason Smith, who was he wasn't a supervisor, he was the Ubervisor because there was so much work to do. Yeah. We really had Academy Award winning nominated supervisors working with us on every single realm. So we created it though, it's like, how do you eat an elephant? It was truly one bite at a time. So every effect, every storytelling moment was related to and part of a collaboration with Kate and Ramsey and special effects and our directors and showrunners. It was really specific. I have to tell you, there wasn't one effect that wasn't tested, planned, and some of them were extremely uniquely complex. Scale, for example, is something that was a collaboration between all of us.
The memories came back then. That's what you saw on my face.
That was tremendously difficult and complex to do. Have you large characters, small characters? It's an ensemble.
And then making a large, what is it? And then we have within the small characters, you'd have large characters that have to be smaller again, right? So there's the physicality of each actor coming into that as well.
So it was creating that reality in costume and in design, and then actually technically to put that all together. And most importantly, not get in the way of the performance of the actors, which is what sells a visual effect. It is truly the actor's belief that they're in that world.
And so, Kate, I'm wondering, how challenging was it to craft costumes for each show's world and making them sort of as distinct as possible and having their own culture throughout the 8 episodes?
We did a lot of work at the beginning, just focusing on, obviously, the first part of my journey was just going back through all the texts, as I was very familiar with them all already, the books, but going back through that world. Going back to the source material, really, and then you create rules from that. I mean, it's very clearly there, all the thematic elements in his work, and they've done the same process on the film. So really, it's just going back to all of that. And once you know that each culture is embedded in its natural elements, and that then defines materiality, and that's you start building these worlds. And Ron mentioned on a discussion earlier, we actually had a room where we created these sort of mood tables with all those sort of elements so that we could distill and take away and see how they sat together. But the common link was that each culture was held in its elements and with their own gods and creation and that arc that they go through all the ages. Really,
I would like to just say it wasn't a room, it was like a museum. You'd walk in and you'd go around, and it was so amazing. And every week it would be more and more and more. We'd go every weekend for like, let's go visit Kate.
Yeah, and we've done even things like we'd have the chainmail that we developed for the elves was different to that for the dwarves, was different to that for men. So all of those things had to have their own distinguishing traits, really. And then color palette was a huge thing that fed. We fed back and across. With production design and visual effects, each culture had their own color palette and mood, and so that became the rule of, making each world feel different, really.
And when you cut between the worlds, you want to know in a very subtextual way where you are. You don't want to have to guess, but we don't want it to be cartoon-like. So it was very, very subtle, but even the photography and the color of the light and everything was specific to per world, per moment.
And is it difficult to work on a show that is both extremely, visual effects heavy, but also keeps its focus on the characters?
So truly, it shouldn't be. It sometimes is, but in our case, it wasn't, because visual effects, we don't consider visual effects. We consider them modern filmmaking. We just have tools that filmmakers before us didn't have. So we get to use them in ways that are subtle and specific. They're not by themselves anything. They are supportive of story. They're supportive of moment. They're supportive of drama. They help the actors. They help everyone to connect things, and also for safety and to do things that can't be done or can't be purchased or can't be made. We fill in those blanks, but we are the woof and weave of all the departments connected together.
I think it's interesting what Ron just brought up, though, in terms of technology, because we're dealing with a world that isn't, it's early, it's based in sort of medieval language and that. So, but we found ourselves within our department using technology, but not as the main thing, but more to enable us to create volume and that. So everything was crafted by hand, everything was sculpted first, and then we used technology as our friend to get that out where sheer labor couldn't, and that way. So I think when technology is used to enhance the story and to, it doesn't dominate in that you lose the context of the actual materiality and quality. It's quite interesting, I think.
And we were actually the first cloud-based production, so we were able to share things.
There's a little pandemic in the middle of that.
So no, but we were able to share everything, and we did. That was really, I think, the art of it.
Awesome. Well, it was really great talking to you guys today on the show. Congratulations. It looks so good. Honestly, I was my jaw dropped at many sequences, including my favorite one was when the Southlands became Mordor. It was a very potent moment of visual storytelling. It's absolutely astounding.
Thank you so much.
So I wish you all the best on your future projects, and I hope that you have a really great rest of your day.
Thank you. Lovely to meet you.
Thank you.